Vertex form is what we were working with. A bracket x minus h close bracket squared plus k. What point can we tell from this equation, this form?
You could tell that it's gonna, well, it's positive, A is positive, so it's gonna be probably opening up if it's above 1, right?
If it's positive, it opens up. If it's negative, it opens down. Yep. What else does A do?
It put me on the spot.
Anyone. A tells us the parabola is opening up or opening down, and also.
And also.
Yeah, stretched or compressed. Good. And in this form, what do the H and K tell us about the parabola? Where the what point is?
Vertex.
Vertex. Very good. You were briefly introduced to factored form and standard form yesterday. Who remembers what factored form tells us besides the A is again open up or down, stretched or compressed? What are these telling us?
The x value.
Good. Aiden's right. We got the x-intercepts here. So this is when the projectile would be on the ground, or the width of the arch or the bridge or whatever we're talking about. And then in standard form, again, A is open up or down, stretched or compressed. But what does the C tell us?
Y-intercept.
Yes, good, the y-intercept. So all of a sudden, you guys actually can tell 4 points from this parabola: the vertex, the y-intercept, and then usually there's 2 x-intercept points. So we can tell quite a bit here from these forms. What we're going to be doing first.
Let me shoot. What was 1 again?
The vertex.
Oh,
the first thing we're going to learn today is a process of multiplying binomials together. Last year, you guys worked a lot with distribution, and you were distributing one term or a monomial into the bracket, like distributing a 3 into the bracket or an x into the bracket. Today, we're going to be learning a new way of distribution of multiplying 2 binomials together. What does it mean if I say the word binomial? How many terms are in each bracket? 2. Fantastic. So you're multiplying a bracket with 2 terms against a bracket with 2 terms. So 2 binomials together. The acronym of FOIL helps us make sure we don't miss anything in this distribution process. It just stands for, we're going to multiply the first term in each bracket together. Then we're going to do the outer terms, and then the inside or the inner terms, and then the last term. First, outer, inner, last is what this stands for. FOIL is just an acronym to help us make sure we don't miss anything. I'm going to show you what we mean here. What's the first term of this first bracket?
2x.
Good. And what's the first term of the second bracket?
X.
What is 2x times x?
2x.
Close?
2x squared.
2x squared. Good.
Yeah, I forgot that.
Yeah. Your first term, because it's a quadratic, it's going to have an x squared or a squared term there, making it a quadratic. So we're going to have to pay attention to multiplying our like bases together here.
If there was a number, there was a number before the x, if it was like 3, so if it was 2x times 3x, would it be 6x squared?
Yes, that's right.
Oh, I gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. So we just multiplied the first term in each bracket. Now what we're going to do is we're going to multiply the outer terms. So what terms are on the outside ends of each bracket?
4 and 3.
So basically we're looking at the extremes here. We're looking at, so the 2x is the outer term here, and the 3 is the outer term of that one. So basically like the ends, okay? What's 2x times positive 3?
6x.
Good. And a positive 6x, they're both positive, okay? Now what 2 terms are on the insides of each bracket here? If we look at the 2 brackets, what's inside
4
here?
X?
Yeah, so what's 4 times x?
4x squared? No, 4x?
Just a 4x?
Just 4x. Yeah.
Yep, and then we're going to multiply the last term. So 4 is the last term of this bracket. 3 is the last one of that bracket. What is positive 4 times positive 3?
12.
There we go, 12. So you can see I ended up with 4 terms. I multiplied a binomial to a binomial, and now I have 4 terms. So it looks like I have a 4-term polynomial. But the two middle terms, excuse me, they will always simplify. What is 6x plus 4x?
10x squared.
Okay, so we're adding. Do we change exponents if we're adding?
Oh no, we don't. So it'd just be 10x.
Good. So my
When you
final.
multiply, you put the x squared. When you add, you just leave it.
Exactly. Good. So we're remembering some exponent rules from grade 9. We're just adding the coefficients or subtracting the coefficients depending on the sign. In this case, 6 plus 4 is going to give me 10. So this is my final answer here, 2x squared plus 10x plus 12. So I'm going to just quickly review what you guys did with FOIL. You took the first term and you multiplied it to the first term in the second bracket. Then in essence, you took that same term, the 2x, and you distributed it to the 3. So the 2x went to the x and the 3. Then the 4 went to the inside term, 4 times x became 4x, and then the 4 went to the last term. So you're distributing that term 2 times, and then you're going to simplify. So let's try this one. M is my variable now, m plus 2 and m plus 3. What's my first term going to be? When I multiply m times m.
1 squared.
Yeah, 1m squared. Yep. Yep. Now we don't have to write the 1, but you can, but it'll be m squared. What's my next term going to be?
3m.
Very good. And a positive because they're both positive. What about my next term?
2m.
Very good. And what about my final term?
6.
Very good. 2 times 3 is 6. All right. What's my final simplified form for this equation?
5m. So m squared plus 5m plus 6.
Very good. M
Right.
squared plus 5m plus 6. Any questions so far on FOIL or multiplying two binomials together? Okay, what you guys can see you just did was you just took factored form and you turned it into standard form. Maybe you didn't recognize that at first, but if I go back here to this screen, we started off with this form with 2 brackets. We multiplied it and we ended up with this form. So you're learning how to convert between different forms in case we needed to know the y-intercept instead of the x-intercepts, or we needed to know something different about the parabola. You're learning how to convert between those forms. Okay, so FOIL is just multiplying factored form into standard form. What about this first one? What are we going to get here?
You're gonna multiply x times 2, and then you're gonna do.
So what do you get there?
Oh, so x times 2x is 2x squared,
Very good.
and then it's gonna x times 5 negative 5, right?
Yep.
Which is gonna be the x times negative 5 is gonna be negative 5x.
Very good.
And then you have to do the outside, right? Or the
Now we're, now we're-
negative 7 times 2x would
Yep.
be negative 14x.
awesome. And then the last term of each bracket.
What? It's gonna be wait, what?
So negative 7.
5x.
Oh, negative 7 times negative 5.
Yep.
It's gonna be negative 30.
Pay attention to your signs.
Or
It's
30.
negative
30. It's gonna be 30 plus 30.
plus, what's 7 times 5, guys?
35.
35. There we go. I know.
Sorry.
That's okay. You actually, Matthew, you're doing pretty well to say you had 2% brain energy level, so we're doing okay. What is negative 5x take away 14x?
19. Negative 19x.
Perfect. And done. All right, you guys try this next one and put in the chat what you get. Multiply these together.
Multiply everything. Don't you square everything inside the bracket?
So your first instinct might be just distribute the exponent in. I would end up with, I'm going to write it over here for a second. 2x squared would be 4x squared and 5 squared would be 25. If I just distribute the 2, and I'm going to get that. I'm going to leave that there for a second. What are you doing if you have 4 squared? What are you doing with the 4?
I don't know.
Square just means you times it by itself, right? That exponent of 2 means I have to write this bracket twice. I have to take the bracket and times it to itself.
Oh, so that's all you would do, and then you'd go right to the question.
Now I'm going to FOIL. Okay, tell me what I'm getting when I FOIL this, guys.
2x times 2x would be 4x squared, and then 2x times 5 is me 10x, and then 5 times 2x would be 10x, and then 5 times 5 is 25. Or yeah.
Okay, so what's 10x plus 10x?
Multiplication? Or is it just addition, or is it multiplication?
It's FOIL is multiplication because there's no sign in this bracket right here, Matthew. So you're taking this bracket and timesing it to this bracket. Now when you simplify, we're adding though. So what's 10x plus 10x?
20.
Very good. Is that the same thing as just distributing the exponent into the bracket?
No.
No. What are we missing if we just do this?
I actually don't know.
What are we missing? This is a trinomial.
The
This is
y-intercept.
Yeah, so we're completely missing a term here. The 20x is not here, right? So don't just distribute the exponent of 2 in. You actually have to write the bracket twice and then FOIL. Okay, any questions on that one? All right, let's look and see what happens if our brackets look the same, but one has a minus sign and one has a plus. What's my first term here?
25x squared.
Very good. What's my next term?
It's me 20x.
Positive 20x.
Yeah.
What's my next term?
Negative 4 times 5x is going to be negative 20x.
Okay. And what's my last term?
It's going to be negative 4 times 4. So it's going to be
Negative 16.
Good.
Yeah.
What does this simplify to?
Wow, 0.
Yeah, the middle term is gone. So sometimes you will end up with a binomial, but how come that middle term canceled out this time?
Pardon me?
So how come this middle term canceled out? Why did this become 0?
Subtract 20x, and that's 0.
Yeah. What about these brackets made that happen?
Pardon me?
Look at the 2 original brackets.
Yeah.
What about them made that term cancel out?
Because they are the same except for the signs on the 4.
Exactly, Aiden. The 2 brackets are the same. They both have a 5x and a 4 in them, but one's a plus and one's a minus. So you'll start to realize there's some patterns that emerge here, but because one is a plus and one's a minus, otherwise they're exactly the same, that middle term ended up canceling right out. You don't need to know, that's kind of an extra. It will come up later on in the chapter. That, so far what we've been doing is taking factored form and converting to standard, but what if I asked you to convert vertex form into standard? So this is taking chapter 4. I know this first parabola is opening down, it's been stretched, and the vertex is at -1, -8. But what if I needed the y-intercept? What if I needed standard form? Suggestions on how I would do that? Suggestions.
Is it something to do with that squared?
Yes.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah, so you're just going to square you're just going to square the whole question, right? You just put that whole question beside it in brackets?
Well, what is the square on? What am I squaring?
Bracket of
You duplicate that
bracket.
section.
Exactly, Zach. The bracket is squared. So guys, just remember BEDMAS. BEDMAS says I have to do simplify inside of the brackets if possible. In this case, I can't, but I have this exponent I have to take care of. So I'm going to write this bracket out 2 times so we can FOIL it.
So do you leave the -8 outside of it? Like you don't.
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm
you
not going to worry about anything else except for the FOILing process first.
Why'd
So I'm going to, sorry?
Why'd you put the -8 on the end of the bracket?
Because it is outside of the bracket. The exponent of 2 does not apply to it. Does that make sense, Matthew?
No.
So this 2 right here only applies to the bracket. So I wrote the bracket twice. I didn't do anything with the a value and I didn't do anything with the k value.
Yeah, but what do you have to put it in?
Yeah, we're gonna have to take care of it here in a second.
Okay.
So what do I get if I FOIL this bracket together?
Would it just be x times x? And then
Yep. What's x times x?
1x squared or x squared?
Yeah.
And
Then
then you're
what?
gonna do x times 1, which is gonna be 1x.
Then what?
And then you're gonna do 1 times x, which is gonna be 1x. And then you do 1 times 1, which is gonna be 1.
Okay, let's
And-
simplify that bracket before we do anything else. What's 1x plus 1x?
2x
Very good.
plus 1
Yeah.
bracket.
Okay, so we took care of the exponents. Do I have any division in this question?
No.
Do I have multiplication?
No. Or yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, you do.
Very good. So now I'm going to distribute the a value in. So what's -2 times x squared?
-2 times x squared is
Negative 2x squared.
Very good. What's -2 times +2x?
4x.
Yeah.
Negative 4x.
Very, very good. -2 times +1?
Negative 2.
Very good. Now I have this 8 that I haven't done anything with yet. So I just did multiplication. Now we have the addition or subtraction here on the end. What is this simplified to on the end?
Negative 10.
Very good. And you're done. So you guys can actually convert anything into standard form. You can do vertex form, or you could do factored form now.
Wait, what's that 8 do again?
It went together with the -2.
And then you just left -4x and -2x
Yeah.
squared.
You just simplified.
So then that's how you convert from standard form, or that's how you convert from vertex form to standard form.
Yeah.